Hey there, Sagittarius. Welcome to your reading. This is your March bonus reading for March 2025. You have this Immerse and Reconnect card. You could be immersing yourself into something that you're reconnecting with, like an old idea or something that you want to work on, or an old project. And I think all of that would be really good for you. I think it's just a great time to immerse yourself in anything. You know, we have a ton of Pisces energy right now. And so if you want to learn something new, if you want to, improve yourself or improve your business or anything, really diving deep into that, what you are learning would of course be a really good idea at this time. You could learn a lot more than normal, or there could be a lot of benefits to gain from doing that, is what I would say. Now, the thing about Pisces is there are two sides. So I would look at both sides of whatever you're learning from or whatever you're learning about, and kind of balancing the two things out with the Justice card. Multiple people have started with the Justice card, which is crazy. It's kind of interesting. I mean, we have two eclipses this month. We have two retrogrades as well, but this could be, with the two eclipses, it could represent karmic balance. I mean, to me, it's a good thing. For everyone that has started with the Justice card, I have said that I think it's a good thing. It could just represent things balancing out, or could represent some sort of karmic justice coming in for people, and obviously that would be a good thing with this energy. I do think really I'm trying to get more off the card, and I'm just not. Nothing is popping into my head. So whenever I don't know something, I just say it. And really, I think what the card is saying is look at both sides. That's not normally what I say with the Justice card, because the Justice is really about cause and effect. But I feel for you, it's more about looking at your ideas or your future plans for your life and look at both sides of the thing. I don't know, it will be helpful for some reason. You have the Magician as your crossing energy. Crossing energy can be what hurts you or helps you in the Celtic cross. Now, funny enough, the Magician is pointing towards the Temperance card. What does the Temperance card represent? It represents mixing two things together. So again, I think mixing two sides together here could be very beneficial for you. And someone else also got a similar message. I don't remember who it was, but I think mixing things together would be helpful. As far as a crossing energy is concerned, the Magician can say, because remember, the crossing energy can be what hurts you or helps you. And so creativity might be more beneficial for you at this time as well. So as a crossing energy, you can say you're not being creative and that you need to be tapping into your creative side more. And I feel that would be helpful. I also think your beliefs about yourself would be really a good thing to work on as well. The Magician has this snake wrapped around his waist, and the snake around his waist is the Ouroboros, which represents reinvention. And part of reinvention is your belief system, believing that you can be what you want to be. And so I think working on that, even if you have to brainwash yourself, I always say, I do affirmations every single morning. It's pretty much one of the first things I do when I sit down here in the morning is my affirmations. And, I don't think affirmations are magical or anything. I think it just rewires your brain. You're basically brainwashing yourself into believing something. It changed my life, and it's free. It takes me, 10 minutes, right? To pretty much write my affirmations in the morning. That's it. The thing about affirmations is they take a long time to work, I think, as well. But, again, I think any of those activities would be good for you this month. In the area of what's on your mind or the area of your thoughts, you have the Three of Swords. Some of you could be thinking about a heartbreak or a heartbreaking situation. Now, the Three of Swords isn't all bad. The Three of Swords represents forgiveness. And we don't have to forgive a person or a situation directly. We just have to forgive them in our heart. And if we pull those swords from our heart, we will move past it. The other thing I'm getting is that the thing about the Three of Swords is it's temporary. It's raining on the Three of Swords. It doesn't rain forever. The rain on the Three of Swords literally says that whatever you're dealing with is a temporary situation. I feel some of you could be dealing with a heartbreaking situation, and it's like you're making it longer than it needs to be. So I kind of feel like the Three of Swords is saying, it's time to heal from this, whatever the heartbreak was. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be love, and it's time to move forward. Even in the area of your foundation, you have the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands says don't give up, keep pushing forward. The Nine of Wands is also a card of the Wounded Warrior. So Three of Swords could be thinking about the wounds that you have gained over, or you have experienced over the past few years. And the Nine of Wands is about pushing forward towards your like new potential. He has to keep pushing, and there really is no good answer with the Nine of Wands because it is a card of perseverance. The answer is to just not give up, right? And he has to keep moving forward. And so, I guess it's a good thing that it's showing up, though, because it kind of says that you are not giving up, that you are going to keep pushing forward. In your past situation, and this is the energy you're moving past, you have the skunk card. It says conflict avoidance, discretion, and lunar energy. You have this emu that says curiosity, strategy, and endurance. I'm getting a weird message here as well that some of you are no longer going to avoid conflict, which actually could be a good thing. When you think about it, I have noticed that a lot of spiritual people, especially in relationships, are kind of like people pleasers, right? So we avoid conflict because we don't want to lose the other person. But it's like sometimes either... Like, I really don't think we should try to avoid conflict in relationships. Like, I've heard a lot of people say things like, oh, I never argue with my partner. I'm like, yeah, but that's not necessarily a good thing. If you're never arguing with a person that you're spending 24/7 with, there's an issue going on there. I don't think it's about not arguing with a person. To me, that is not a good relationship. To me, a good relationship is being able to argue, but having constructive arguments that don't turn into UFC Fight Night 147, right? So as long as you're not, like, arguing with each other and putting each other down and disrespecting each other, as long as you're having arguments that actually lead to something like a positive outcome, and as long as you can argue constructively, which is possible, then there's really nothing wrong with arguments in a connection. Again, as long as it's a positive argument, if there is such a thing. And so I think that some of you, that's kind of what I get here is like maybe you're realizing that being conflict avoidant is actually leading to a worse life. And I do think spiritual people pleasers eventually learn that in life, that it's like avoiding conflict isn't necessarily good either. And so because it can steal your happiness. If you're completely avoiding conflict, then basically you're not getting what you want in some situations, right? And the sun is about your happiness. Now, this is the energy you're moving past. I don't think you're moving past your happiness. I actually feel you are choosing happiness by saying, I'm going to stick up for myself more. I'm going to, really focus on what I want more. And again, I don't think that's a bad thing in this reading. Next, in the area of the very near future, you have this intuition card. Yes, we have every planet and its mother is in Pisces right now. So, and Venus will be retrograding into Pisces. So, yes, trust your intuition. You have this new beginnings card, this new moon card. It says beginnings on it. We have two eclipses. Eclipses can definitely bring in like faded new beginnings, and pretty much every single person has basically had a new beginning card in this set of readings. You have the Temperance card, which is you showing up here, Sag. So whenever you show up as yourself, it kind of puts you in a position of power and strength. Again, mixing two sides together. I've been saying since 2016, or maybe even earlier, probably like 2015, that I think the future is mixing things together. I don't really have any good examples for you. I'm sorry. But, I think the people that are going to be successful in the future are going to be able to take two different ideas and apply them to one situation, especially in business, right? That will be very successful for people. And, there's a lot of great information about this. So one of my favorite books of all time is called Skip the Line by James Altucher. And he talks about idea sex. Like the best ideas are two ideas together. And so I feel that whatever you're planning for your life, if you can mix something together or mix two experiences together, that could be very powerful for you with this temperance energy. And, I really like that for you as well. Next, in your outcome row, you have this power and this gateway card. Yeah, you could be stepping through a powerful gateway, literally, here with this energy. Now, I think you have to face some fears or something because you have the Eight of Swords and the Nine of Swords here. And usually we do. I literally just said to someone else that the Wheel of Fortune in the tarot, for example, which is also your card, is a card of facing a fear, because the Wheel of Fortune has that snake that's on the side of the wheel, and snakes are guardians of portals. So to improve our lives, usually we have to face a fear or we have to overcome something. It's like the example I always use is relationships. I bet if you look at your past relationships, that they were pretty much probably the same person, a different person, but the same. We have a tendency to pick our comfort zone, right? And so I feel like these two cards are challenging you to like claim your power and to not pick your comfort zone, to pick something that's harder, pick something that is going to make you stretch over the next few months. Like pick a goal that is going to cause you to grow in strength. Your outcome to this reading is a strength card, but strength is an action. You have the Eight of Swords in the area of the next few months. So Eight of Swords is only looking at one solution when there are many. Again, I practice what I call solutions-based tarot. So, people always get worried when something like this comes up, and I'm always like, no, you don't have to accept this. You can change it. That's why you're watching this reading. People act like these readings are, I think one of the things that really has ruined tarot is the fact that people kind of look at them as predictions, which sure, sometimes I think tarot can predict things, but for the most part, I just look at tarot as energy you can work with or not. The choice is yours, right? So again, this is not saying like, oh, you're screwed for the next few months, you're going to be stuck. It's saying find solutions, look for other ways of doing things, and you will overcome this. And if you do that, then you're going to have a great time, right? And so that's what I would do with the Eight of Swords. In the area of your closest relationships, you have the Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups is pretty good in this area of the reading because it says you're spoiled for choice in your connections. And this is all connections, not just love, but there really could be a very social time for you. It could also be like a very dreamy time. Again, with all this Pisces energy, your connections could take on a more kind of like dreamy atmosphere, or your connections could also help you dream as well. So if there are people who support you, who lift you up, those are the people I would surround yourself with. And those people could have like ideas, or they could want to dream with you. They could want to help you on your dreams. And that's kind of the energy that I get off of this card. So surround yourself with positive connections. In the area of your future feelings, you have the Nine of Swords. Something has to change, right? The Nine of Swords sometimes, I personally consider it to be the worst card in the tarot, so I'll say that. But, what I would say to you, Sagittarius, is I feel like you are realizing, like, I don't feel too bad about it for you. We're going to clarify. We'll see what comes up. But, I kind of get this feeling that you just know that something has to change. This person is sitting in this bed. They've had a nightmare. They've woken up and they're stuck in a nightmare. I always say that this is the worst card in the tarot to me because he is in pain, but he's not in enough pain to make a change. The secret to life is not getting to this place. I always talk about how I've seen it happen to myself, to other people, where it's like, they'll make more money in life and then they'll buy the Ferrari or whatever, right? And then their money starts coming down and down and down. And it's not until they like can't make their payment on the Ferrari that they get motivated enough to do something to go back up again, right? I think in life, our job is to just go like this. Just keep going up. And it's not about being perfect, but it's about not resting on your laurels, right? And I feel the Nine of Swords could be you realizing that something has to change so that you can go back up, if that makes sense. You have the Strength card. I do feel the Strength card is saying you have the strength to make this happen. I do also feel clearly based off your life for the past several years, I think you've developed a lot of strength. The Strength card is in action. Again, she is taming her inner voice on the Strength card. So this is something that she has to do every single day. She has to get this lion to submit to her. And that lion is her inner voice and her inner critic. So the only thing that is in your way right now, Sag, is you. And conquering yourself, brainwashing yourself, like we said earlier with the Magician, seems to be a very good idea. I think another solution here, again, is creativity. Coming up with creative solutions, not just the same old solution to things that you've been dealing with, would be a really good idea as well. With the Justice card and the Magician, you have the Page of Wands. Page of Wands is about it being adventurous. I do feel Sag is getting back to their adventurous self. You are the sign of adventure, so, I would be going on adventures. Now, these could be adventures in the comfort of your own home, right? Like learning something new, teaching yourself a new skill, learning about something. All those things are adventures from your own home that you can do, and that's what I would do. With the Three of Swords, you have the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles is about looking at your resources. It's kind of weird. It's almost like a hermit reading in some ways. And we are kind of in the time of the hermit in some ways as well. The South Node is in Virgo. And so in some ways, it's kind of like we're all coming off of hermit mode. And the Queen of Pentacles with the Three of Swords would be looking at the resources that you have, and realizing that, you are your own mental point of origin, right? Like everything comes from you. It's kind of like a very deep message, actually, that I'm getting with the Three of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles. It's like I feel like you're starting to take more responsibility or something like that for everything in your life. And it's not that you're like blaming yourself. I'm not a big fan of like, some of the law of attraction teachers and stuff. They make it seem like victim blaming, blaming yourself for things, if that makes sense. That's not what I'm saying here. I just feel you're kind of like taking more of a, you're making yourself your own mental point of origin. I said it. We'll just go with that. With the Nine of Wands, you have the Magician. Again, yes, Magician makes perfect sense with the Nine of Wands because the Nine of Wands is throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. It is experimentation. The Magician loves to experiment. He has mastery over all the ace versions of the suits right in front of him. So he always experiments with his tools. If he tries to build something or do something in his life, if like one way to do something doesn't work, he'll try something else. If he thinks there might be a better solution to something, he'll try one of the other tools. He also has a snake wrapped around his waist, which we were talking about a snake earlier. So I think a lot of you that kind of like facing the fear of not being able to do something, like, really, I don't know that it's fear. I think it's more believing in yourself, right? Would be a very good thing for you to do or to work on right now. With the Sun, you have two cards here. You have the Strength card again and the Queen of Cups. So the Strength card is, again, about working on yourself. The Queen of Cups would be about healing your heart. So she is a very heart-based energy. And we have the Three of Swords here. When your heart is clear, when you have forgiven the past and healed your heart, then you can make much better decisions. The Queen of Cups, she wants to follow her heart. She wants to allow her heart to guide her. And I feel that healing that would be definitely a good thing. It would allow you to guide yourself with your heart. With the Temperance card, you have the World. The World is an accomplishment, but the World is about creating your own world. And the Temperance card, he's trying to use alchemy to change his situation. So a lot of you could be kind of creating your own world. It's funny, we talked about a portal with the Wheel of Fortune earlier because the World is definitely a portal card. There's a portal right in the middle of the card that you are crossing through. So this whole entire reading says that you are kind of crossing through a portal in some way. The World, usually in the major arcana, we go from the Fool to the World, and then we start all over again as the Fool. And you have this new beginning card that is showing up in the same position here. So there's definitely some sort of new beginning coming in for you. With the Eight of Swords, yes, you have the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords is actually a great solution to the Eight of Swords because he is doing something in a different way. He is stealing those swords from an army in the background so that he doesn't have to go to war with that army in the background. He is creating a solution for himself that is different. He also can come up and represent needing to not take things too seriously. He has polka dots on his cloak, and the polka dots in the tarot can just remind us to not take things too seriously, to be more playful, and all that other good stuff. With the Seven of Cups, you have the Seven of Pentacles. Two sevens is internal fears don't exist. We've been talking about fear this whole entire time. The Seven of Pentacles is a change in direction. And so, again, people in your life that you are like dreaming with could be helping you change the direction of your life. So I would find those people who support your dreams, or I would find those people who love to like brainstorm and things like that. Those are the people that could be extra helpful for you. With the Nine of Swords, you have the Five of Wands, fearing competition, basically. I do feel a lot of you have big goals, dreams right now, but you could be fearing that there's too much competition, but doesn't matter. Do it anyway. I truly believe if you're meant to do something, if it's meant for you, it's meant for you, right? So I would face competition. The other thing with the Five of Wands is that we can learn from the competition. We don't even have to take part in the competition. We can just educate ourselves on what the competition is doing, and we can look at are there any gaps, or is the competition in work or business or love, are they not doing something that you could be doing? And that's what I would focus on there. With the Strength card, you have the Four of Cups. It's like Four of Cups with the Nine of Swords is the question, like, will I ever get what I want? That's, down and dirty tarot. That's basically what that combination represents. He is kind of like disappointed with the results he's gotten so far, but there's a new opportunity coming in for him. if he applies what he has learned from these three situations here to a new situation, then he will probably have a much better outcome. I say probably because really it's up to you whether or not that is going to be a good situation or not. So again, I would be using what you have learned. You have this cobweb. It says protected from negative forces beyond your control. Nine of Swords, Five of Wands. Again, I do feel a little bit too much worrying here, Sagittarius, where you could be worrying about, this, that, or the other thing. But if you knew that you were perfectly protected, what would you do? And that's what I would be doing. You have this caterpillar. It says things will not always be this way. A change is coming. Yes. And this could be why maybe you've been in caterpillar soup for a long time. A caterpillar, when it goes into its chrysalis, it turns into soup before it becomes a butterfly. So you've been dealing with caterpillar soup, which I think we've talked about before. You have this money path that says a path with money is waiting for you to find it. Yes. And what I would add is it will be obvious for you. Just based off your astrology, I think something that's going to work is very clearly going to work. And that is the direction that I would move in. You have this vine card. It says seek out information that will help you. I think we said this whole entire time. That learning, educating yourself, looking for answers is kind of the answer for you. And finally, you have this crown. It says honor and respect will come to you. So there's definitely success or an achievement coming in with the world card. And I would just keep, when you have a success, keep moving in that direction. But pretty interesting here, Sag. So thank you for being here and definitely enjoy your month.